Hey party people, and welcome back to MVM. My name is Jeremy, and today I'm here with this next game in crowdfunding. This is actually one of my most anticipated crowdfunding games for 2023. I remember seeing a trailer, I feel like a year or so ago. It got me interested, saw an interview, I believe, on Alex, Board Game Co's channel, and then I kind of got excited because this is from the same publisher, Ohm Games, as Stars of Arcarios, a game that I really liked, just outside of my top 10 from last year. But what is Stonesaga? This is not designed by Brendan. This is designed by a different team. And in this game, it's an adventure. It's a game of discovery. You are basically people going out and about from a land, opening up that land and learning about it, fishing, delving, creating things. We're going to talk about how you put items together and things of that nature. You're going to be discovering the land and setting up your civilization, you know, building buildings and things of that nature. But eventually the world, well, things are going to go on in the world in reaction to what you're doing. There's some mystical and all kinds of other elements in there. So we're going to be talking about that stuff. Let's go ahead and break it down. This game is 1 to 4 players. You're going to have these different scenarios or challenges that come in the form of these cards. These cards also are going to have different like set aside scenarios, things that you need to do. These are goals that you need to do, but ultimately we'll have one main goal. This one's called Vital Goals. This is how you finish it. Now on the back, it's going to tell you, it's going to actually tell you this little symbol here. This little symbol tells you exactly what you need to kind of pay attention to react to different things that are going on during the days and nights. But on the back, they have some activities and they teach you how to set up. There's several different books in this game. They're all going to have their own different purpose. They have a kind of a walkthrough guide. I don't know if this is going to be consistent with the prototype and the final product. Of course, this is a prototype, folks. But they also have these different things here. You got your rule book, which is kind of a reference book because the regular one, the one they sent us, kind of walks you through everything that you see here as far as we go here. And then we also have the codex book, which is going to have different codes for the items we build, different reactions to the omen symbol I was just showing you, all kinds of stuff. So we're going to be kind of showing you a little bit of that while I'm doing this today. So what are we doing? We are these warriors, these travelers or whatnot, and we are going to be going about. What does that look like? So you got these characters here. I got miniatures for each one of them here. This is a 1 to 4 player game. You can play true solo, and you're going to have these different traits. You're going to have different traits such as cunning, wise. There's several different other ones. Those are keywords that are going to react when you go to, you know, certain things. They'll say, hey, if you have this word +2 or whatever. But you're also going to have these mantles. These mantles come out. There's several different mantles. I'm assuming if you have more funding, crowdfunding, that more of these would show up here. And then they go into these spots here, giving you different little actions and stuff like that. As you can see, there are pieces and stuff in there already. This is kind of how you have to pack your pack. And then you have your action tokens, and this is where your health will be. You get different health based on how many characters you have in the game. I have 2. I already have a minor injury here. And up top, you're going to have your stats that you roll for at the beginning of the game. You roll 4 dice, and if you don't get 13, you need to get 13 or higher, and then you can allocate those to the specific numbers, and you're going to be writing those on those cards. Now, as this game plays out, this is one of those things I may forget, so I'm going to say it right now. Your character, you'll be writing down different things, like you'll be writing down like wall paintings and different things in journals, recipes and things of that nature. But one of the interesting things about this game is as you go through the game, your characters will age. So there's some changes going on in this game. Very, very interesting. Didn't get a chance to play all that out, but I just want you to know that's part of the game. There is aging in the game. So let's go ahead and dig into what's going on here in the game. So you're going to go out and you're going to take on these missions. This is one of the Seeds of the Wind, and you got to do several of these different actions. So I'm just going to walk through some of them, give you a preview of how some of these things go, a little bit beyond that, and then we'll move on. So one of the first things you can do for 2 actions, and each character has these 5 actions for right now, and you're going to take one of the actions that's on there. Now, before I take this fishing action, I want you to take a look at the board here. This is our board. These like little crate things here, they kind of go together as you explore and as you expand your areas there. But these tiles that are inside of here, that you put inside of here randomly, because there's a lot of tiles right here, there's lots of tiles, they have like visual cues on them. So like this is Fog of War. So if I were to explore, which is one of my actions, let's go ahead and do that first. We're going to take this off and we're just going to flip this over. When we flip this over, you're going to see a whole bunch of visual cues on here. There's water, there's mountains, there's a forest over here, there's another mountain over here, and that tells you a lot of different things. I could fish here, I could forage here, I can go mining here, can I set up a camp there? You can see there's camps there, but over here, even here, there's like these straits here. Those are all different things that I can interact with in this game, and those will tell me what type of actions I can take, how deep dungeons are, how deep the certain areas are, what kind of rocks will I put in my bag when I'm mining. There's all kinds of things that you're paying attention to, and there's even symbols that match some of these other symbols that if you're seeking omens you may want to look for. This is a very visual game, a very visual game. But that's how you do that. And then when I move to, let's say, another spot, there'll be a discovery card. So it's like you're moving to another land, you're opening it up, something may happen. And there's different cues on here, but like I said, you're going to be testing these things using your stats, rolling a die, and then results may vary. You'll even have actions that get amplified. You may have some things that you learn along the way, but that's kind of what goes on. You can learn new actions, build fire faster, all that stuff. I'm not going to spoil it for you. But let's say I wanted to go fishing in this lake, and this person is going to go fishing here in this little river thing here. So she goes fishing, and what we do is we take this card out. This is really slick. So you take this card out, you flip it over, and it tells you, hey, this is a 3, 4, or a 5. You could get a fish, you could get 2 water, or you can get 2 fish. Then you flip this card over and you slide it on here just like that. You roll 4 dice. You add the dice to it, allocate it. I'm just going to allocate it for 2 water like that. We'll do that, like that. And then lastly, we'll flip over when we finally decide that. We'll slide this out. And then what we'll do is we'll resolve the line. So we'll look at the dice that are on the line. So for example, if I wanted to do the white line, I have 9 on there. I'm going to look at the white. It's only 5, so I got a +1. I'm going to get 2 water. So then I would get 2 water. That 2 water goes in my pack. Whoops. And if it was fish, I get fish, but I need to eat and I need to drink and eat in this game. So that's kind of how that one goes. And that's a really interesting little mechanic. And if there are certain things that you do, you may get extra because you've gotten a bonus. So, and I should even say, some of the different types of lands give you different things. So really interesting little mechanic there. So one of the other things you can do is you can go into mines. So you can go into a mine and you can go, and when you do go into one of those things, depending on the different types, you'll put these rocks and different things in here like so. You'll go into a bag, you'll pull them out, and then when you pull them out, you're going to have these different icons on there. So you'll get this, I think it's like a clay rock or some kind of stone, and then you flip this over and you look at the reference card for it. Let me grab the reference card for it. And you're going to resolve the icon that's on there. Now, if that icon happens to match the icon of the day, then there's another effect that will happen. But other than that, if I just look at this, it says I suffer 1 minor injury. So let's say I did that, sorry, I didn't do that. I suffer 1 minor injury, boom, like that, like so. But I also would read, it says I also, a major effect, if it were to match, then I would get a +2 of the stone, but I still just get 1 of the stone. Those pieces go into my little bag area here. Whoops, sorry. Looks like I'm not paying for stuff. All right, let's see here. I don't remember whose turn it was, but we'll do it like that. We're just doing fake energy, but everything, all the actions basically cost 2. So we've mined. So let's say I have more energy and I wanted this person to forage. So they're foraging. And the reason why, because I can see that forest right there. There are different types of tiles. There are these plains tiles that you have, and those are the harder tiles, and they have different landscapes on them and different things. You can see it's drier. They have different plains. And the reason why I'm saying that is because this land right here is plains, and I would have to go to the plains, but this one here, I'm going to go to the forest. What happens in the forest? Dig this, okay? So in the forest, you flip cards. So you flip 2 cards, and it's like a visual thing. You're looking at these 2 things. You see a predator here. You don't want no parts of the predator. You want this stuff right here. There's trees, there's a feather in here, there's a large prey, all this stuff. And there's a front ground, a middle ground, and a background. And you're trying to find the things that you want. So you're pulling these cards, trying to find the things that you need here. So let's see. I definitely don't want Oh, whoops, I'm supposed to shuffle those back in there. Let's do that in a perfect world, right? All right, here we go. So we flip these cards and then we take a look at those. Now, I'm just going to decide that I want, let's see, I'm going to decide that I want to do this. So I'm going to go here. Unfortunately, actually, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. So like this thing's here, or let me just do something real easy to resolve here. So I'll go like this here. And I can go and get this trees right here. So let's say, oh, I got trees, I got stones and all kinds of stuff here. I can choose one of the items in the front ground or the foreground, or I could take some steps back. There's even ones with like little steps here that you can walk on and go further back. And then I could grab stuff way in the background and things here, or in the foreground and front here. So if I were to grab some resource, I probably would want to go for the wood. So I would actually grab these items, and these items have different codes on them, and you can manipulate those things when you do processing. But I just want to show you, you can get wood, you can get vines. If you fight and you fight these predators, or you fight them, you can get fur, you can get like all kinds of stuff, teeth, feathers, all these items. And what are you going to do with those items? I'm going to show you in a second. This part is really cool. I'm serious. Buckle up for that part because it's pretty interesting. But that's what you're going to be doing. You're going to go out and find resources. And there's even bonus resources on here that you look. And it's very much a visual clue. As a matter of fact, I was looking at one of these cards. And one of these cards has one of the sun icons on it right here that you can see if you look really close. I'm going to show you. See like there's a little star on there? But yeah, there's visual cues that you need to pay attention to because you may need them to interact with what's going on that day. You may have to search for something like that of that nature. There's a lot of things here. You got to survive, but you also have to be aware of what's going on in this world. So that's another thing you can do. Another one you can do later on, a little bit later on, past the first scenario, I believe, you're going to have the delving thing. So you can go down into some of these caves, and when you go in some of these caves, you can go on kind of a journey, like a little journey, and you'll resolve what's in here. As you can see, that's an icon. It matches the moon right here. So there may be some things that trigger, but you also have something that you would resolve. You may have to go, this one says go to the outcome book, which can be in our codex book. So there's little stories in here. You may want to think of that as kind of like Ryan Lockett-ish, where the world kind of unfolds on those types of things. You'll have rolling tests and things of that nature, but you'll also get to choose whether you want to go left or right. So you're kind of delving deeper, grabbing stuff. And I mean, you can come out of here with some ridiculous amount of resources, or you can leave and maybe end up on a different part of the map. So there's a lot of different things that are going on here, a lot of mystery inside of this thing when you're delving. But one of the biggest mysteries in this game is how do you craft stuff? So there's this action, it's called processing. So when you process, you're going to be taking items. I'm actually going to do it with this character here. When you process, you're going to be taking items that you have and interacting with each other. So there is this kind of clay thing here. I'm just going to flip it back over. It needs to interact with something specific. So it's got a left thing on the top that says, hey, it needs to bash with something else. Well, I could bash it with this rock here that needs to be bashed together. If I bash it together, boom, it becomes this, and it unlocks a code, and this becomes a stone that I can hit with another stone. So let's just say I had this stone like this. I hit the stone, it flips it like this. Now I'm going to take that and interact some of these other ones and interact with different items. Maybe I need a tooth. I take a tooth and I carve into things, and really all you're doing is making sense of these different things. But this is what happens. This is really cool. I'm going to take something like this stick, okay, and I'm going to take this stick and this tooth, all right, and I'm going to put them like this, and then I'm going to read a code, and the code is going to read how these little pips come across. So 2220. So then I would use that, and I would go to the codex that's in here, and I would look up yellow, the color, and then I'm going to look up and it says 2220, and it has this thing called the ATL, so addle, and it says you made an addle. By placing a spear on the addle and holding the addle, you gain tremendous leverage. So then what you do is you go into the deck. I think I may have had this in the game, so let me see if there's another one in here. ITT22. So you got all these items in here. I mean, and they're not traditional items. I mean, a bone fishing hook, an addle that keeps in there, bone knife, wood spear. There's a small shell spear, so you can take a shell and whatnot. But I don't want you to spoil yourself and look through these. I want you to play with these different types of things. Like I have this bone here, and then I put the bone with this, and then I made a shell spear, and this character got a shell spear. And that's what you're doing. You're kind of creating these things and doing what it's telling you to do, and you're completing these along the way. So I explored that tile. I processed some things. I made a tool. You are gathering resources, so I gathered a whole bunch of resources and I have them. And eventually what you want to do is complete this thing right here. That will finish the scenario. But at some point, you have to rest. So you go into what's called the night phase. And in the night phase, that's where you got to deal with all the stuff you got. So at the beginning of the night, you're going to get food. You're going to kind of get some energy and replenish. If you are at, okay, and this is depending on player count. If you are at like a camp like this character is, and they got like fire, they get extra stuff. But now we got to feed ourselves. So you got to drink food. If you drink water and food, you get extra energy. Okay, so you get a little extra energy and you get more. And this person has some nuts, so they can eat that as well. And let's just say they had a fire here or something like that. Then they can get another one there, and let's say they had food. And there's some other bonuses that you get for filling this up like this. You can kind of heal things if you do. You also, if you have certain things, you can get bonuses. These are boost icons right here as well. And these are just your stats. These are your stats. You're going to keep track of them. I haven't seen where you kind of exceed to a certain amount where you just add numbers to them, but I'm assuming because there's different scenarios and things of that nature. But that's generally what happens at night. And then you experience, and now you have to, you still have to kind of finagle your stuff. As you can see, this is another little fiddly kind of thing that you're doing, but not in a bad way. You're just trying to figure out how you can keep things in your inventory so you don't lose them. You got your bag. You can't have all the stuff in your bag, but can't take it all with you. You can't take it all with you. All right. So I got to get rid of that stuff. Oh Lord. Okay. So I have all this stuff I got on there, and now I have to deal with night events because things can happen. So I draw a night event for each one of these characters here, and then we'll have to resolve something at night. Usually it's a skill check or a choice that happens, but there are some secrets that come out in this as well because there's cards that you shuffle in during the game. I'm not going to go too much deeper into that, but this will also raise what's called your activity. Your activity is also kind of a game timer. On the back, you'll have these different events that occur when you get to a certain number of activity. And then this unrest will increase depending on certain things that happen during the game. And this can also mess with you as well because your community needs you, and if certain things aren't being done, then we have problems. You definitely want to set up these camps. You definitely want to have fire because fire helps you with tools. Fire will help you with some of these tools so you can sharpen them and manipulate them. And I didn't go so deep into this, but I'm gonna tell you right now, doing this thing and figuring out how those pieces come together is just one of the more fun parts of this game. And so is discovering things. I will tell you a little something that goes on here that's kind of, that definitely will pique your interest. You can make these outposts and build villages. And when you do, okay, when you do, they take up a spot on the tile, and depending on where you build them, you will be able to make a village with little spots that you can add things to. So you can build wells, build monuments, build, structures and things of that nature. And you can build fields so you can grow more food. And if certain things come in line, you can have food stored, you can water stored, cheaper actions. You may discover technology of some sort. When I say technology, I mean like the basics, but you discover certain things to make actions easier. And these cards here are just, I'm assuming, some of the things that you can build in this game. And you're going to have all kinds of things. This says quernstone, fire pit, storage containers, waste pit, drying racks, workbench, longhouse. I mean, monuments, things of that nature. So they're kind of like religion, a field, a yurt, clay pots. All these things can be made, and then you're going to have your nice little village that'll give you benefits. Now, along the way, there are going to be all kinds of icons that pop up, but you got a journal. that's going to give you a recipe, recipes, things that have happened to you. Like I said, there's wall paintings, there's omens. I'm not going to dive into that. And as you get deeper into this game, and there's 3 scenarios in this prototype, you may discover a mystery. This big behemoth will pop up and things happen. I'm not going to spoil that for you, but that's just to show you that this world does open up. There's more to discover and there's just more to see. I'm going to leave that there and get to my just kind of what I think about what's going on in this game. I think Stonesaga has a chance to be a very special adventure game. And this is the reason. It keeps surprising me. Everything that I did, I learned and discovered something, and the world opened up. I don't know if that will maintain in the final copy, but from what I've played, I'm feeling that. I feel like there's still this sense of discovery when you go into these 3 scenarios. It opens up, you learn more about the world, and the world teaches you different things as well. It kind of reacts to you in a sense. And I never felt like I was getting tired of what was going on, these actions that you become more accustomed to, playing around with these items in here and building them. This is just, this game has a chance to do some special things that will definitely leave you in wonder and immersed in its experience. I think this is going to be a really immersive experience because of the way they set up the world and the theme in this game. But I think this will give you a roundabout idea of what this adventure game is doing for you. Hopefully I helped you make an informed backing decision, because I can't tell you what to do with your money. But folks, hopefully I can answer some questions for you in the comments below. I'm sure the publisher will pop in. They'll probably answer some things for you. Thank you for your time. You have a wonderful day, and thanks for joining me on MVM. Take care.